What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Espresso, and welcome back to another video here today on the channel. Today, we're going to be discussing a little bit about some changes coming to Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Some ones that, though it may have taken a little bit of time to get some answers on this, are now finally being detailed, and like it or not, and take the time frame out of everything, it's good to finally have these things laid out and distinguished for us players to see exactly what's coming up in Infinite Warfare. I'll be the first to tell you that I'm not exactly too fond of how long it's taken to get some of these answers, but now that we're finally getting some, I'm very happy with the transparency. You can't change what's been done. You can only look forward to the future, I guess, and that's something that looking forward is nice to see, that we're having more communication, more open discussion with the developers in the developing studio in Infinity Ward, and I think as long as we keep this dialogue open, we can have a little bit better of a community and gameplay experience within Infinite Warfare and the rest of the life cycle for the game. So that said, we're going to be talking about some of these changes coming up, some things that we can look forward to in the very near future within the game, and breaking down all the important things for you guys so you have all the information you could need. So first thing up on the chopping block is perhaps one of the things that has been scrutinized the most since Infinite Warfare came out, and that is the lack of leaderboards. As it stands right now, we are over 2 months into the launch and life cycle of Infinite Warfare, and we still do not have any ranking system in the likes of leaderboards or something even remotely similar. That's something that has for every year previously been something that's a staple of Call of Duty that's launched with a title, and for a lot of people, this was a major deterrent in what they thought of the game, how it was incomplete. It didn't even have something as simple as this, but now we do have finally some information on when they will be launching. We don't have an exact date, but we do have an ETA. That's something that this was then announced by Ashton, the community manager over at Infinity Ward, saying that this will be done by the end of the month. We'll have them in-game by the end of January. So this is something that, once again, no actual specific date is given, but the ETA is there. Presumably, it might even launch with the next update that comes with DLC 1. Sabotage is launching for PlayStation users on January the 31st, so it's possible that when the update goes live to put this into consoles, it could go out for everybody at that point. So these updates usually come out a couple of days beforehand, so maybe we'll see it then, but regardless, probably in about a week to a week and a half's time, we'll have leaderboards in-game for Infinite Warfare. Now, why this was so delayed, why we're being told now just about this, is because that we're supposedly getting a leaderboard that promotes the competitive spirit of multiplayer in that wording. With this, we'll bring a few different features that come along with it, including showing what percentile you're in out of the ranking players, those active in the leaderboards. And while it's not anything confirmed, I still do believe that they had to completely rework everything because of the amount of glitches and exploits that have happened so far in the game. That still doesn't excuse the fact as to why they were late on leaderboards, but it could maybe describe why they were delayed even further. I don't know, that's just speculation and theory, but regardless, we're getting leaderboards here within the next week or two, and with some new features that hopefully should be brand new to the series and maybe worth the wait. But that said, custom emblems are coming by late February, and the combat records as well are by late February additionally. So while it might once again be a massive wait for what reasons we don't know, it is nice to see finally some communication on the ends here of both community and developer having a little bit of a discussion and feedback with this, giving us the information. So it is, once again, not anything I'm too happy is still delayed, but I'm glad is now finally being resolved and somewhat granted to us in a time frame that we can expect. Now, the reasoning for this is apparently Infinity Ward says they are still designing the UI for the combat records and deciding what data to show. That to me is kind of interesting once again, because that kind of throws maybe a little bit of a hint out there because of these exploits. It was something delayed even further, but still, I'm not entirely sure why it's taken this long. I guess we'll see in time if there's anything brand new that we see at this point when it's released, but for the time being, it is just late February is the ETA. No apparent date and anything past that estimation, but we are given that at least. Additionally, though, tactical TDM is going to be staying in Infinite Warfare permanently for the rest of the game. That was something that was only supposed to be in there for, I think, a weekend, maybe a week at most, but because it got so much extra good feedback, we got extra time on it, and then it now is officially being added into Infinite Warfare as a complete entity and staying there for the rest of the game. I personally like this. Tactical TDM has done a great job at capturing the boots on the ground feel, I think, with the amount of different innovations that the game has introduced in the past couple of years, such as wall running, and definitely it is nice to see that slower pace. You're not jumping around near as much. Sure, wall runs can help you get around a little bit here and there, but not near as much as the jetpacks, the thrusters, and all that we've seen previously. I think it's a nice little step down from the current pace that we were at with Infinite Warfare and brings it back to a more traditional aspect, though it's still set in space and the different realms around that entirety of the setting. But additionally, we're going to be getting some new things like featured game modes coming to Infinite Warfare. The new ones that will be coming here with this will be lasting more so than just the weekends that were previously scheduled. They're going to be lasting for entire weeks now. So there are some game modes like Reinforce and things like that that are not in the game currently as public game modes, but are around to potentially be added in as community game modes like this. So we'll be seeing some stuff like this last for an entire week rather than just a weekend. One big thing also that was addressed within this community update and posting by Ashton is the topic of the bans and the exploits with the keys for the holiday giveaways. This is something that was a major problem back whenever it happened. It got resolved rather quickly, but then people ended up getting banned for it. So it comes down to a matter of, is this enough? Players that got upwards of like 20,000 keys, I saw some people don't have their inventories reset. They don't have anything taken away or rather even reverted. I don't know if I would necessarily punish people by completely resetting their inventories. I'm too much of a softie at that point to go completely back like that. But regardless, a 48-hour ban is something that really did not affect too many people, and it's an exploit that took multiple steps. It was definitely a clear and concise effort to do this if you ended up exploiting it. So is it something that needs a little bit more punishments? I'm not entirely sure, but it is on the topic of discussion around the team at Infinity Ward, how they're going to be investigating more. They can totally see who did that kind of stuff and who got the most of it, and whether or not they revert inventories completely or just leave it be, I guess we'll see in time, but that's another thing that is massively on the table for discussion. Another big thing that I think is being introduced is the anti-cheat update for PC. For those that don't know, every single Call of Duty game, and for the most part almost every major game that is released at the AAA level on PC, has some sort of first-party anti-cheat client or system installed with it so that there is no hacking, there's no modding on the PC version. But Infinite Warfare launched without one of those. I did a video recently about some bans going out on Infinite Warfare, but they weren't Infinity Ward issue bans. They were VAC bans, which are something that is above Infinity Ward. That is Steam's anti-cheat system, or rather, as it's actually labeled, Valve anti-cheat system. It's a complete step above, so there was absolutely nothing done on the first party end of this for cheating, but according to this update, there is in the works right now an anti-cheat system being worked on for the PC version, which is greatly overdue. Camos are additionally being updated as well. Many people were not happy with the textures, the quality of the camos that have been added in and have been there since launch, so we're going to be getting some updates to camos, how they look. Maybe Black Sky will actually be finally worth it. I don't know, but we'll see, and that's something that was promised with the January 31st update, so we'll see just how updated these are and what they mean for the future of camos. But the final thing that I wanted to touch on is that if you're a competitive fan, a lot of you guys may know that the CWL and the competitive scene is not in the greatest state right now, but Infinity Ward is open to actively working with the competitive community and trying to make things as good as possible for competition and competitive play moving forward. So that is what it is. I don't know exactly what that means, but we'll see in time, I guess. But nonetheless, there is definitely a bunch of things here on the table and in the works for updates within the next month or so, and it's definitely something to look forward to, I think, if you're still playing Infinite Warfare. Certainly some of these things definitely should have been in from launch, and I'm kind of upset that they are not, but now that we have a clear and concise dialogue and open line of communication with the developers, or at least a little bit further, closer towards that, it is nice to see that we're finally getting answers and some things given back to us as a community. So that said, I'd love to hear your thoughts here down there in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree that these things should have been in place since the very beginning, or are you guys like me and just happy we're finally getting them at this point as is? I certainly would have loved to see some of these things already in place, but it is what it is, and I'm glad we're finally getting some information here on it. So that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything Infinite Warfare, Modern Warfare Master, Black Ops 3, anything Call of Duty related. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get connected with me here outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so that's it. If you guys want to ask a question, start up a conversation, whatever it may be, feel free to follow me over there. But thank you dudes so much for watching. My name is Nikolai Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Take care and peace.